Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the
Welcome to our top travel destinations. I am your host, Kevin Flanagan. I have been editor of the weekly travel news column in the Sunday Independent and the Fine Wine and Food Guide, and I am here to use my decades of experience to help you know exactly where to stay, eat, drink, shop, and explore when visiting the world's top travel destinations. So sit back and enjoy the wonders of travel as we take off on our magical journey together. Welcome to Kevin's The Top Travel Destination, and this week I'm doing a recap of a wonderful period of travel, and the subject is, why is it important to travel? I think I've learnt quite a lot in the last few months. I was away, as you may know, if you've been following the podcast, as many thousands around the world do, and we really appreciate that this January, February, and March of 2025 saw me pack my bags and jump on numerous planes, trains, automobiles. It was really almost a movie. And I'm just reflecting on what that meant for me and how I can share that experience so you too can get something from this. Many of you joined me on my trip to Japan and Taiwan and Thailand, but the really important thing is to make your own trips. And why is it important to make your own trips? I still have friends who look at me and say, I don't know how you can possibly go to all those airports and queue up and get people coughing all over you. There's still, since the pandemic, quite a resistance, particularly in the slightly older contingency. And I would really like to reach out and reassure all of you that travel is so important and it has so many benefits. What are the immediate benefits of this recent travel extravaganza that I've been on? Well, for the first thing, I missed the grey winter months. In fact, in Dublin, where I live, I can remember my son telling me that there were 9 days without sunshine. Now, that would be a cross to bear for pretty much anyone. Luckily, where I was, I got a mixture of sunshine in Thailand, snow in Japan, freezing weather in Taiwan, and a little bit of everything else in between. And it meant that by the time I came back to Europe, the blossoms were out, the evenings are lengthening, and there is spring literally in the air. You see, what I've also noticed is that people become quite flat. By that I mean that the routine of long winter nights and the greyness of the sky can be deadening. You add that into the routine of life, and you do notice how people have suffered a lack of stimulation. I have not had such an experience. In Thailand, there's the mad bustle of Bangkok. You can go up to Udon Thani and find the extraordinary beauty of northern Thailand. You've got the buzz of Taiwan, and then you've got the unique energy and history of Japan. I've also, in this period, been able to tramp up the Dolomites in Italy, just above Venice, and experience the magic of Venice with my grandkids' New Year. So much stimulation there. You could not possibly be flat or feeling any way low when you've exposed yourself to that amount of stimulation. The stimulation of the lotus fields in Udon Thani, where you get on a boat and you're surrounded by the magic, the beauty of millions of red lotuses. The bustle of Bangkok, where if you're not careful, you'll be run over. But as you're run over, you will see some wonderful Buddha, the reclining Buddha statue that dots itself around and brings you to think about life. You'll have the extraordinariness of Taiwan, sitting in one of the cafes there with all of the people who may or may not suffer, military intervention from their larger neighbor, and just the energy that that gives and the desire to talk to people about that. And of course, the uniqueness of Japan. What an extraordinary place. One of the most extraordinary places I have been, where you have a different culture, a different way of interacting with people, and a different mindset and a different way of interpreting life. And that's not even to say the beauty of Europe, where the Dolomites and Venice, of course, would be two highlights. So much to pack away, so much to really feast on. You've got new connections. And I've said this before in the podcast, new connections when you go to these different places, these different travel destinations, they actually make new connections in your brain. And as we are all concerned about the aging process, as the population gets older, we find that there is dementia, Alzheimer's, and one of the ways to counteract that is to put down new connections. New connections are formed by actually making physically new connections. When you do travel, when you do go to airports, when you do interact with other people, different stimuli, different languages, different food, different culture, different wine and drink, you put down new connections in your brain. It's called neuroplasticity. Now, what an extraordinary benefit that is. And so I look back at this incredible time I've had away. And the highlights, I think, again, would be in Hiroshima, literally looking up where an atom bomb exploded over a mainly civilian population and reduced people to ashes in a nanosecond, and how that really resonated inside my chest. I can remember standing just outside of Taipei in Taiwan and looking over the sea towards the giant neighbor China and thinking, maybe one day I'll turn on the news and see ships coming across in an invasion force and airplanes. And I wanted to see this place before any military intervention took place or invasion, just to get a sense of the folk. And then the simplest of life in northern Thailand, where if you have a toilet, you're lucky, where life revolves around the family and simple meals. And I brought back a great gift. I brought my wok when I got back, and now I cook something Asian pretty much every day. The simplicity of street food and the wonder of that. So I think what happens is that when one travels, the real importance of travel is how it increases one's appetite for life and the appreciation of life here. It's a great time, actually, if you have the power, the circumstances, and the resources that would allow you to get away in those shoulder months. So many people now are avoiding travel in the heat of June, July because of global climate change. And what better time to go away when it's cold and grey in Europe and you can lighten up your life, quite literally, with sunshine in foreign climes. And it doesn't have to be the other side of the world. There are so many places nearby on the Mediterranean, in the continent of Africa. There's so many places to discover. But I would just really share with you the love of travel and how important it is for your health, for your soul, for your spirit, and how you will blossom like one of those wonderful red lotuses on the lakes of Udantanai. So come with me. Let's travel. Let's explore new destinations. And it will add years to your life and life to your years.